It is no secret that most companies worldwide are experiencing a series of ups and downs that are forcing them to sell their assets in order to obtain assets and continue operating. Unfortunately, many manufacturers, distributors, and transporters are resentful of the problem and are being put out of work due to the dreaded economic downturn. Of course, it is one thing for the workers and another for the CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs, who must take responsibility for paying the salaries of these people. For them, a crisis like the one we are experiencing is a challenge, as many of them have never experienced such a problem before. Or simply, with the amount of wealth they've had a few years ago, these problems hardly bothered them. What will happen to Tesla now that it is beginning to feel the magnified effects of the economic recession? Does it have what it takes to survive these challenging months ahead, or will it be lost to another falling company like so many others? Yes, it seems that, like other corporations before them, Tesla is seeing increasingly difficult days and difficult situations, all because of the mismanagement that has taken place in the United States in terms of the monetary factor. However, even with all that is going on, Musk's young company still has the assets it needs to survive, or at least that is what it's proving. Let's take a closer look at the sale that shook many of the entrepreneur's fans. Since the beginning of this year, Elon Musk had made several comments that caught the attention of many investors and cryptocurrency experts. When the prices of these assets were due to fall, the Tesla founder and CEO announced via his networks that neither he nor his company needed to sell its digital assets, as, quote, Tesla had money. Of course, Musk's comments drew attention to the bluntness with which he made this fact known, in addition to the criticism that the tycoon made all those entrepreneurs who were holding his crypto assets for the slight losses they were making. His messages in March were particularly harsh and full of the peculiar tone that the richest man in the world usually uses in his tweets. Recalling the message he shared on the 14th of March, Musk assured that he would keep the cryptocurrencies he owned, as their value would increase again in the future. Quote, I still own and will not sell my Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Doge, he tweeted at the time. And from the favorable numbers Tesla showed at the time, it seemed that the man was right and would not resort to spending the company's arcades, let alone the crypto assets he so zealously guarded. However, months passed, and each of those days worsened the situation for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Soon, people began to realize that investing all their savings in such digital assets had not been the best idea. And along with them, Musk and Tesla continued to show their support for such money, no matter what people said. Even so, it seems that Elon was already starting to show some disappointment with the crypto assets issue, proof of which was the fight he had with one of the founders of Dogecoin when the tycoons started to discredit him. These days, Tesla broke its promise and sold a considerable amount of Bitcoin during what many analysts are calling a crypto winter. Of course, many people have come out to defend the company founder's decision, but others believe that they were wrong to sell a portion of those assets to protect the company from him. Whose side are you on? On its own, Tesla doesn't appear to have a crash problem, or at least it hasn't reported one in recent days. No one has commented on whether the company is struggling to obtain parts for its cars, let alone on its assets and cash flow. So, when Tesla announced the sale of Bitcoins, people were soon surprised by the amount of assets that were sold. Weren't Musk and the company supposed to want to keep that money? Why sell such large amounts of the crypto asset if they're not supposed to be in trouble? Yes, many are asking these questions, and it wasn't a number. In fact, when many heard about the amount, they automatically thought of the company where those cryptocurrencies came from. Most of all because of the shock that this election represents. Since the end of June, the electric car manufacturer converted 75% of its cryptocurrencies into flat money. This decision not only gave Tesla the opportunity to add some $936 million in cash to its balance, but it also gave it the chance to improve its second quarter numbers. A boon that many shareholders were grateful for, especially after all the controversies surrounding Musk's sale and the subsequent rejection of Twitter. CEO Elon Musk said in a call with several analysts that the company made the decision because of the uncertainty around the world due to the extreme security and health measures imposed in China because of the COVID Program Zero. Quote, "This should not be taken as a fatal verdict on Bitcoin," Musk said. "It's just that we were concerned about the overall liquidity of the company, given the COVID blockades in China." Musk became known last year for his actions on behalf of cryptocurrencies, to the point of becoming a key player for several such companies around the world. His support and accreditation not only boosted currencies such as Bitcoin itself, but others also benefited from his words, such as the famous canine cryptocurrency Dogecoin. He released several messages on his networks showing a favorable response to these assets, while assuring that many of them would become the currencies of the future. Even at several public events, Musk introduced himself by saying that there were 3 things that belonged to him personally. The first was Tesla, the second SpaceX, and the third was cryptocurrencies. Specifically, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. It is time for a short pause to reflect on everything we have seen in this first block. To be honest, we didn't expect the whole situation that Tesla's going through. While there have been rumors of financial problems and other details, this is the first time I've heard of such a large sale in such a short time. Moreover, an asset that, despite its precipitous fall, is still going strong and resisting the onslaught of the crisis. What will happen to Tesla now that so many assets have been sold? And what about Bitcoin? Will you feel the sell-off? Let's stay on the subject of the sell-off. In February last year, Tesla released an announcement that it had invested $1.5 billion in pure Bitcoin. Not only did that number help others trust cryptocurrencies, but the company's own earnings benefited from Musk and his company's words. Today, Tesla sold 10% of its shares within the company and revealed that it only has 218 million in Bitcoin, all because of the deterioration of the currency and its low profitability in the last quarter. For those who do not know, the cryptocurrency has suffered one of its steepest falls since its inception. In November last year, those assets were almost $69,000. This week, Bitcoin traded for a market value of about $23,000. Bitcoin has lost 2/3 of its original value, and this has led many investors to sell the currency in an attempt to recoup some of the money they've lost. Musk joined the list, but by how quickly he made the move, he seems to have timed the market well. According to estimates by various specialists, Tesla only lost around 189 million of the initial investment it made in Bitcoins. While that's a neat figure, we can't say that it doesn't compare to everything that is surely affecting the cryptocurrency itself. Musk's adoption of Bitcoin helped as a catalyst for the digital currency. After Tesla probably accepted the token for purchases, many acquired some of those assets and decided to try them out. Now, with the receiverships, asset sales, and other measures, Bitcoin and other digital currencies are suffering even more in the markets. The additional pullback marks a very strong move against one of the most prominent dividends in the cryptocurrency sector. Yes, the crypto winter has arrived and is attacking with all hands. And so, we come to the last block of today's video. After analyzing the news in depth and understanding Tesla's motives for selling all these assets, we can say that, on the one hand, we understand their actions and even justify them. It is not easy to take responsibility for so many people and keep a company afloat, let alone take over other businesses, institutions, and companies, and expect none of them to do badly. So, looking at Tesla's situation, tell us, what would you have done if you were in Elon Musk's place? Would you have sold more Bitcoins to get even more liquidity, or would you have limited yourself to just a few units? Do you think it was the best plan of action? Leave your thoughts on the video in the comments box, and share any notes you like, featured in the channel. And while we're on the subject of the channel, why not take the opportunity to subscribe? That way, you won't have to keep logging in to see all the material we bring you. You will automatically receive notifications of new content. Thanks for your stay, and for all the likes and visits you've left us. See you next time.